Good morning and welcome to your Farm and Home Show. I'm Kristi Shive, and this morning we're visiting with Dr. Courtney Leuking. She's an extension specialist for health and nutrition with the University of Kentucky. Good morning, Courtney.
Good morning, Kristi.
Holidays are a time for gathering with family and friends to enjoy delicious food favorites. What can we do to keep everyone healthy and safe this holiday season?
What I'd like to talk about with you all today is making sure we can keep your food safe so that you can keep your friends and family safe. So let's talk about a couple things to keep in mind as you prepare and serve and store those foods.
Yes, Courtney, give us these tips because we have all been there. And that's definitely something that we would like to avoid this holiday season.
Yes. So the first thing to consider is hand washing.
Mm.
Hand washing is key. So everyone involved in food prep and before they eat, so everybody who's there needs to wash their hands with clean running water and soap for 20 seconds. So you could sing your favorite holiday song, like a part of it. You could sing the UK fight song, Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. They're all about 20 seconds. When you're in the kitchen, you want to wash your hands both before and after, and sometimes during, depending what you're touching. So things like raw meats, you definitely want to wash your hands after you've touched those before you transition to something else. The hand washing is great for food safety, but there's also those general health benefits, especially during the cold and flu season when we're all in tight quarters with more people. And then one more thing on the food preparation end would be to make sure you have separate equipment for those raw meats or poultry
Mm.
and those foods that are ready to eat. So for example, fruit or vegetables, things that may not be cooked. Otherwise, you can wash it in between. So either have separate equipment or make sure you wash it really well.
Courtney, back to food safety. I know that I often check my phone because I have recipes on my phone, and we know that our phones are one of the dirtiest items that we can have. So that's another thing to keep in mind, that I try to keep in mind for myself because I'm always touching my phone. But what are some ways to keep food safe while we are serving them?
Yes, great point about the phone. I love that there's that recipe mode now that we can click and then it stays lit. So if you have that option, I would use that. But when it comes to serving foods, put a time limit on how long foods are out. Shelf-stable things like pretzels or crackers or nuts, those are okay to leave out. But we're talking about things, again, the meat, the poultry, eggs, casseroles, those types of things can spoil. And unfortunately, we can't tell by looking at them whether they've spoiled. We can't tell by tasting, we can't tell by smelling. So to avoid worrying about this issue, get things back in the refrigerator or freezer within 2 hours of finishing preparation and serving.
Now, I love leftovers, but I know that there are some concerns that we should possibly keep in mind when it comes to leftovers. Courtney, what are some suggestions you have for us?
Yes. So again, getting that food packaged and put away soon, because the longer it's in that temperature danger zone, that's when that bacteria can grow and thrive. So if we get in things into shallow food containers, that will help it cool off sooner. Label things so you know what they are and when they were packaged. So that way you know whether you can eat it or toss it. Anything in the refrigerator needs to be eaten within 3 to 4 days. If you're like our family, that's not a problem. But depending on how many leftovers you have, make sure you keep eating within 3 to 4 days. Otherwise, shove it in the freezer. Make sure your refrigerator is at 40 degrees or below, or your freezer 0 degrees Fahrenheit or below. It's a lot of work to open and close the fridge and the freezer. So it's working extra time to stay cool and to keep those foods cool. So you want to consider checking the temperature within your storage places. And then when you do eat those leftovers, make sure they're reheated to 165 degrees Fahrenheit. So a quick check of a food with a food thermometer, a meat thermometer, that will let you know if you've reheated it to that safe temperature.
Well, thank you so much for being with us today, Courtney. If you would like more information, be sure to contact your local cooperative extension office. Thanks for joining us today on the Farm and Home Show, and we'll see you next time.